the human journey is to navigate our way through the emotional spectrum, from absolute joy to grief and despair. And it helps to remember in these times that emotions are all temporary, just like the old saying, and this too shall pass. So how do you navigate your way through emotional stress?
Probably think of the worst times and then try and equate it to the time I'm at.
I try and do a little bit of mental meditation.
More often when I'm feeling not great, I go talk to family members for support.
On today's show, I'm lucky enough to have a girls' trip with some of my lovely friends.
Who's going to pop the champagne and bring some cake?
Oh, yes, please.
Dr. Joe is back in the kitchen.
The trick is to go for the smaller potato.
And Jane has some tips of the trade for your happy pets.
Happiness.
Peter Roberts is the sort of person we all aspire to be. He spends his time utilising his talents for the most vulnerable amongst us.
Well, it was a life-changing experience that I took up the harp because I had a regular life, I had a business and so on, and I gave that up to go to train, to learn to play the harp for people who were critically ill. So I didn't play the harp until I was 48. Having made that decision, it set an extraordinary course of events in place.
The music Peter makes is shared with those that need it most, from neonatal babies all the way to those in palliative care.
So it's a beautiful container. The sound becomes a container for them to rest in. So if someone is letting go of their life, it's a place to rest into. It's okay.
My husband and I lost our mothers within 18 months of each other. My mother with breast cancer and my husband's mother with a brain tumour. And he had played for both of our mothers. Yeah, so to have his music come on as soon as our little girls were born was wonderful. Within the first 5 minutes, they're soothing, they're asleep, they're happy, they're content. Look, I think it takes a special person to give their time the way he does. He spent many years giving back to the community. Not many people would do that.
For me, I'm thinking, how can I offer compassion and love to this person through my music?
And Peter has developed a way to share his music with everyone.
And so I dreamt up the notion of an instrument that anyone could play. One of the major hospitals bought, 16 of them. So the volunteers can take them into the rooms, leave them for the mothers, perhaps to play for the babies. They found that, I think it's 67% of the babies I play for, the oxygen saturation level goes up, and about the same percentage the heart rate goes down. Oh. So the babies are calm, but they're breathing more deeply.
Experiencing grief and loss is an inevitable part of living a full and happy life. Despite the distress, grief is not an illness. It's a process of learning to restore your life without your loved one. There are two sides to grief: processing your sadness and loss, and taking active steps to restore your life. We continue to have an inner relationship or bond with the person that we've lost. You don't have to give that up. In time, your grief can turn to gratitude for your loved one's positive impact on your life.
We're hitting the streets, and thanks to Morris Finance, we're hoping to brighten a few people's day. Can I ask you, how do you stay happy in life?
Always I'm happy now.
You're always happy?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I never stop to working, enough.
Yeah, retired.
All my life working, and building.
Now you're relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, I think making other people happy.
Absolutely.
I like talking to people. I go out every day and smile.
Spending time with my family and being together when we can.
Now, I want to ask you, if you had $50 in your hand right now to do whatever you wanted with, what would you do?
Share it.
Oh, you're so kind. Well, I want to give you $50 to do whatever you'd like to as a random act of happiness.
Well, that's very kind.
But I think you should spend it on yourself because you're a very kind lady.
Thank you very much.
We would like to give you a random act of happiness.
Oh, would you?
$50 to you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, aren't you lovely? Thank you.
You go and
very
enjoy
much.
it. Spend it on whatever you like.
Thank you.
Well, we would like to do a random act of happiness and give you $50
Oh my goodness, thank you.
to go and
Thank you
shag
very much.
yourself.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much.
$50. What would you do with it right now?
Yes, it does quite be good shopping. I don't know.
Shopping?
I can't say.
Well, I would like to say this is a random act of happiness,
Yeah.
and we want you to have $50
Yeah.
to spend however you like.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Set in the shadows of the Great Dividing Range, Daylesford screams weekend getaway. I find great happiness in spending time with friends, and the luxury of the French house sure helps increase that happiness factor. Wow, this is cute.
Look at the fire.
Oh,
So cozy.
they made us a cake and champagne.
Oh, that is so perfect.
Oh, look at this couch.
Hey,
How good
thank
is
you
this?
for organising.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, amazing, Ange.
Who's going to pop the champagne?
Well, I just spotted the tennis court out there, and I thought maybe we could have a little game before dinner.
So the champagne was put on hold, and we laughed our way through a couple of sets. This place has thought of everything, even a soothing spa for faded sports stars. And the best part of any weekend away is the chance to just catch up. Where is your happy place?
I'd say one of the things that I always think is a great thing is conversation. To me, I think that's just something that's fantastic.
I like when the noise is a little bit less and I can really feel more or take in more or absorb more. That's my happy place.
So when I could be alone and listen to the birds and just have some exercise, have a time to reflect, those are my best
You're in
days.
heaven, aren't you?
Yeah, those are great days.
We'll get into the juicy stuff when the cameras stop.
Okay.
After a luxurious night's sleep, it was off to take in the renowned work of Paul Bangay.
Look, my mother was a really great gardener, and I grew up with her gardening. And so I was probably like 5 or 6 or 7. She gave me a small part of her garden that I could use as my own. And after, when I asked my father for a very elaborate greenhouse, he said, I think that's time to stop now. You need to get out and go to school.
How do you go from loving gardening to becoming an international gardening expert?
I think it's just really luck. You know, I was at the right place at the right time. I got really good press when I was starting off. I was on the front cover of Vogue Living when I was 21.
Wow.
It was beautiful. I got a lot of press and, you know, good clients, and just rode the wave of that big property boom in the late 80s.
History, hey?
Yeah.
And what about style-wise? Do you keep it kind of, is it your signature style, or do
Well,
you...
I like to keep it quite timeless and quite classic. I think that's sort of our signature. So I don't want to create a garden that's going to be out of vogue or out of fashion in 10 years' time. We're blessed up here because we've got good weather, good rainfall, beautiful basalt soil, and so all the conditions are right for a garden. So, you know, just coming up here, sitting in the garden, you know, we sit on the back terrace and have a drink and just look at the lovely view of the valley. That's definitely our happy place.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I can see just there's such beauty there, but there's also a practical element too.
We've got the apples coming through, and they're crimson crisp fruiting apples.
Wow.
So in like March, April, we get an abundance of actually really juicy, crisp apples.
Paul, this really could be the biggest pond I've ever seen.
Well, you know, but when you're in the country, scale is very important.
Paul, your grass is so perfect. It's like carpet. Should we take off our shoes?
No, it's quite tough. It's actually creeping bent grass.
They say a man is as good as his lawn. She must be pretty nice. He must be a nice man.
Hopefully.
solitary animals, but if you find yourself in the situation where you're going to become a multiple cat household, there are a few things that you can do to try and reduce the stress on your animals and in turn on yourselves. Things like making sure you've got multiple resources available. So food, water bowls, litter trays. If you've got 2 cats, make sure you've got 3 resources each. Make sure that those resources aren't in a space where the cat might feel cornered or trapped. And make sure they've got areas of the house that they can escape to if they need to get away from one another. Having the ability to get up high, so good climbing poles, can also make a big difference. Things like the calming pheromone Fell-Away can also make that transition a lot easier and a lot smoother on everyone. So good luck. It is a common misconception that fish don't have feelings. Well, that's just not true. A really good example is the Siamese fighting fish. They're often found housed in little small containers like this. They die young because they're very stressed. The RSPCA actually recommend a minimum of a 15 litre tank, this is a 16 litre tank, to house a Siamese fighting fish. And if I put this inside, you can really see the volume of water difference between the two. But the best life is this guy right behind me, Gonzo. He lives inside this 340 litre tank. And although male fighting fishes shouldn't be housed together because of the tendency for aggression, he happily coexists with all the other species in this tank without any sign of trouble. He has access to places to hide, there's an aerator in there so there's plenty of oxygen in the water, and he's a happy boy, he's already 4.5 years old. A dog left home alone all day can become a little bored, and we all know what happens when you get a bored dog. So why not try an interactive toy like this cool Kong wobbler to stimulate their mind and keep them active while you're at work. There you go, Teddy.
Gut health is so important to our overall well-being. At the Fermentary in Daylesford, they know this all too well.
So all of our products do contain a wide range of lactic acid bacteria. It's really good for your gut. But we like to focus on the flavour over the health benefits because that just comes naturally. All right, well this is probably my favourite and we just got a medal for it, so it's like the star of the show. It's water kefir, but it's found all around the world and it's a SCOBY. They're living and they'll procreate and if you start off with 1 tablespoon, you'll end up with 2 cups pretty quickly.
Right.
And that's basically what it is. And if you feed it and put it under the right conditions, it'll create a naturally carbonated, so naturally fizzy drink like this. This is water kefir.
It's very refreshing, isn't it? It's a little bit gingery or something. The understanding of what we eat and the effect it has on our bodies is so important to our health journey.
So all of these are naturally cultured.
Grab the forks.
Yeah, you want to try that? That's kimchi.
This one's kimchi. So this is sauerkraut.
This is our plain sauerkraut with a little bit of caraway.
And people can learn how to make all of this in your book, can't they?
Yep. We put all our recipes in this book.
Ferment for good.
Ancient foods for the modern gut.
The slowest kind of fast food. I love it. Sharon encourages a hands-on approach. So the girls and I got busy making our own sauerkraut.
Oh, it's good exercise.
Oh, that's good.
That's just right. So the salt that you put in should be really fine so that it can get into the cell walls of the cabbage. That's the recipe. Cabbage, salt and thyme, T-I-M-E. You want at least 6 weeks in a vat. The bacteria that hate salt, that'll die off. And then we're going to pack it into a jar and shut out all the oxygen. And the oxygen-loving bacteria will die off. And you're just going to have it sitting there on your bench. The liquid that we've made will cover the cabbage and it will ferment beautifully like this. If you know your gut is a little bit unwell, it's clever to start small. Make sure that you have a wide variety. So don't just say, oh good, I'm eating yogurt every day, I'm fine. A little bit of sauerkraut, a little bit of yogurt, some kombucha, some water kefir, and only in small amounts. Hopefully something fermented with every meal because it helps digest your food, get the best out of it nutritionally, and then also it's adding lactic good bacteria into your gut, which is, as we all know now, really, really important.
There are also a range of supplements that can assist in this move towards a good natural bacteria balance.
I don't like to talk of this as like a heal-all, just as something that's definitely been missing from the Australian diet for a good 50 years. None of our foods are full of life anymore. 'Cause 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 'c
This recipe is my absolute go-to. So we're going to make a macadamia nut seed crumbed chicken along with some homemade roast potato chips, and the greens I'm going to make into a lovely smash with some goat's cheese. So we're going to start with the potatoes because they're going to take the longest to cook. The trick is to go for the smaller potatoes and always to eat them in the skin, and then actually these are a really healthy food. So I'm just going to cut them roughly into a chip shape. Pop them back into the bowl, and then I'm going to drizzle them with some lovely Australian extra virgin olive oil, and it's adding the antioxidants that are present in that oil are going to end up in the potatoes, along with some vitamin E and a whole load of other nutrients, and of course the really good type of fat that's in that particular type of oil. So a little bit of salt, lots of pepper, and then just literally give it a toss around. And we're going to pop this into the oven for about half an hour to 40 minutes at 180. About halfway through, take it out and just give it a shake, but that's all you need to do. So now to make the crumb topping for the chicken. So this is basically just a mixture of different nuts and seeds, but the key ingredient here are macadamia nuts. And these give a wonderful creaminess, I guess, to the topping. So they're fabulous to cook with. So I've got about half a cup, I guess, of macadamias. We've got some almonds, and then a bunch of different seeds. So there's sunflower seeds, some sesame seeds, some chia, and then our spices. A mixture of cumin and coriander, fresh garlic clove. I want some zest of a lemon, and then some lovely Parmesan cheese. I really like Parmesan cheese because it gives you a strong flavor without using too much cheese. And it's a fantastic source of calcium. In fact, it's got more calcium than most other cheeses. And then the last ingredient is some fresh tarragon. Tarragon is just a classic pairing with chicken. Herbs are amongst the highest antioxidant plant foods measured, so just a nice handful of our fresh tarragon. And then I don't want this to turn into a paste. I want it to stay sort of almost like breadcrumbs. So whether you're using a blender or a food processor, literally just pulse. So just slice your chicken and just line a baking tray with some baking paper so your chicken doesn't stick. And then we're going to top with our crumb. Literally just pop it on and lightly press down with your fingers. Now you don't need anything else, you don't need to add any oil because there's plenty of good fats there and all those nuts and seeds and in the cheese. So once your potatoes have been cooking for about 10-15 minutes, all you do is pop these into the same oven. These will take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook. So in here I have a whole head of broccoli along with a cup of just frozen green peas, and you can either do them in the microwave like I've done or simply steam them for a couple of minutes. So I've got some gorgeous fresh basil here and some fresh mint, which smells fantastic. Give them a really good chop. This is some beautiful Australian goat's cheese, but you could use feta. I want some black pepper, just a little salt, and our fresh herbs. Just mash it all together. So then you just plate up the piece of chicken, some lovely homemade chips, and then our broccoli and green pea mash. And dinner is served.
Well, we hope you found some happiness in today's show. If you'd like more information on anything you've seen, just head to the website destinationhappiness.com.
Happy, 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 happiness.